curtain, or the veil of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. Maybe seated in the presence of God.
Thank you.
Talk from the thought, I've got access.
I've
got access. Would you do that, neighbor, for the first time? Put your neighbor this morning. Say, neighbor, I've got access. My brothers and sisters in Christ in creation, there is something that we refer to as a kingdom sound. Before every major move of God, we understand that there is a major sound that precedes it. It is the kingdom sound that gives us access to kingdom environments. We spend much of our lives gaining or giving some sort of access to someone or to something. We are constantly unlocking and locking our phones, giving access to messages, pictures, phone numbers, and ultimately those who have access to us. We go to the bank and we insert our ATM card.
All right.
And we use our pen to get access to our money.
Yeah.
We use our keys to gain access to our homes or to our offices or to our cars.
All right.
We use the internet that gives us access to the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
We use our key fobs to get access to buildings and or to modern cars. In each of these cases and more, I'm sure there are some things we cannot gain access to unless we have the appropriate credentials. No matter how badly we may desire to have access to the vault room at Chase, without the appropriate credentials, our access will be denied. And quite honestly, you will be detained and arrested. Try using the wrong key in the door, or try using the wrong password on your phone, and your access will be denied because it does not recognize you as the owner or someone with the appropriate authority to have access to what's on the inside. And because you could not be identified or your credentials could not be verified, you therefore are not permitted to have access. Because if you have access, you very well may mishandle what you've been given access to. If you have not had the proper clearance. And so it is the same with God. It's the same with God that if you don't have the appropriate credentials, if you will, your access is denied. So what then, the question is posed, what then are the appropriate credentials to have? Is it a degree? No. Is it certain years of service in the church? No. Is it a title or a position? No. The appropriate credentials in order to gain access to everything that God has is very simple, and that is to have faith and expectation. Somebody say faith and expectation.
Faith and expectation.
Every time you come into God's presence, it should be with faith and expectation. I have the faith that He will, and I expect Him to do it. I have the faith that He can heal me, and I expect to be healed. I have faith that He's going to fix my money, and I expect my money to be fixed, because the Bible says that faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not yet seen. I wish I had a church in here this morning that could say, I've got faith that doesn't match my surroundings and stuff. I've got faith for I've never had before. But the Bible says that if I can have enough faith to speak it before I see it, then I'll have the ability to see what I speak. Would you high five your neighbor and say, neighbor, you got to see it before you see it, or you'll never see it. You got to speak depression off of you. You got to speak poverty off of you. I've got to see it before I see it, or I never will see it. Let's get to the text. We're going to hold my text.
Come on now.
Opens with just seconds on the clock
Come on, Pastor.
left of this Calvary experience. Just a couple minutes left of it. And Jesus is now preparing to take His last breath.
Well,
This is a pinnacle moment because hundreds of years of prophecy are now being fulfilled. And there are people standing right by that don't recognize it. The answer to their prayers is right in their reach. Yet they continued in frustration because they were unable to recognize the answer to their own struggle.
All right.
Yeah.
How many times has God sent you an answer and you didn't recognize it?
Well,
Man.
mercy.
How many times has God answered that prayer and you felt as though God was ignoring you, but you really just didn't recognize
All right.
His answer? I didn't recognize it because it didn't look like what I wanted. I didn't recognize it because it didn't sound like what I was expecting it to. But when something comes from God, it has God's approval on it, and you're able to identify it from the fakes. Now this is where we get messed up because I understand that you almost moved on the last thing. I understand that you almost married the last one. I understand that you almost bought the last house and that really wasn't it, and you really dodged the bullet the last time, but I know this time it is God, and I know you still messed up about last time. I know you still got trust issues because of the last time, but I know that this time it's God. Well, how do you know that it's God? I know that it's God because I got peace about it this time. I know it's God because I can sleep at night this time. I know that it's God because I ain't got to force it this time. I know it's God because I ain't got to make him spend time with me. I know it's God because I ain't got to manipulate stuff to get it happen. I know it's God because it's working together and I ain't got nothing to do with it. I know that it's God this time because I ain't have to chase it. I know that it's God this time because it came to me. I know that it's God this time because I feel his presence when I think about it. I know it's God this time.
Thank you, Jesus.
I almost moved on the last time because of the lust in my eye, but this time I know it's God because I feel his presence all around me. I hear God saying that the enemy has gone before him and tried to distract you with the counterfeits. Counterfeit relationships, counterfeit blessings, counterfeit elevations. But God said this time it's me. The move that you prayed for, the job offer you prayed for, this time I ordained it. The house that you asked me for is the one that I have for you. I know you were fooled before, but this time my stamp of approval is on it. This is why you're not intimidated by the reality. That's why you're not intimidated by the price. That's why you're not intimidated by the prerequisites and the requirements, because you lack, and where you lack, I'll be the increase. When you high five your neighbor, say, neighbor, this next move is God approved. I know you ain't got the degree for the job, but God said, where you lack, I've got the increase. I know you ain't got the money to buy the car, but God says, where you lack, I'll be the increase. Is it anybody in here that owns something you know you couldn't afford? Anybody in here live in a house you know you couldn't pay for? But when you didn't have enough, he became more than enough. Now unto him who is able to do exceeding, I wish I had a church here, and abundantly above. When you lack, I'll be the increase. And so, let's look at verse 37. Verse 37 says, with a loud cry, Jesus breathed his last. Verse 37 says, with a loud voice, with a loud cry, Jesus now breathes his last. So now Jesus is on the cross, and it's dark. He has been beaten. He's been spat on. He's given lessons. He's spoken from the sacred text. He's authorized adoption. He's offered salvation, all from the cross. And now comes the moment where he'll take his last breath.
All right.
While it's dark outside, like really it's only about 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the text. And we are approaching the season of Passover.
All right.
Jesus is on the cross. It's about 3 p.m. in the afternoon, but it's dark, and we're on our way to the season of Passover.
Okay.
Passover was coming, which is why Jesus didn't get a fair trial. Passover was coming, which is why They gave no time for reason or to have him plead his case because Passover was coming.
Passover.
And understand that when Passover got there, he could not be crucified during the celebration of Passover.
All right.
And so thusly Passover would have provided protection for him. So they said it's now or never. We've got to crucify him now because when Passover gets here, we won't be able to touch him. We've got to do what we're going to do now because when Passover gets here, we won't be able to reach him. And we may never have the opportunity to get him again. So it's now or never before Passover gets here. And can I tell you, somebody that came to church this morning, the reason why the attack happened so quick, why things took such a quick turn for the worse, and you're still wondering why folk have switched up on you the way that they did, it's not because of anything that you've done wrong. It's simply because the devil on the cross, dying the death of a criminal, in the presence of those who believed he was. But what Jesus teaches us here is that our setback becomes a setup for our comeback. He said, you think you got me, but this was all a part of the plan. And he told him, he said, destroy this temple. And in 3 days, I'll raise it back up again. You thought I was talking about a building. You thought I was talking about where we worship, but I was talking about me, because resurrection is not an event. Resurrection is a person. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and so Jesus makes this sound, this loud cry before he dies. Why, Deacon Hubbard, would he make such a scene? Why not die quietly? Why draw attention to the fact that you're at the end? Why you claiming you are the Messiah are dying the death of a criminal? Would you draw attention to the fact that you are now on this cross? Why not just slip out of here quietly and unannounced?
All right.
Why not die quietly? Every time we see the Lord dealing with the devil,
All right.
he always uses a loud voice. When we see him in the text as he's casting out demons, he uses a loud voice. Every time we see him use this loud voice, when he calls Lazarus from the grave, he uses a loud voice. And so now here he is on the cross again using a loud voice. And so from that we can use our exegetical supposition to deduce that his loud voice is synonymous with his authority. So Jesus didn't die quietly because he wanted them and us to know that even at the point of death, all power is still. I wish I had a church. Even at the point of death, all power is still in my hand. I'm not going to die like someone that ain't got no power, but I'm going out with a holler, because when I die, I'm putting death to death. When I holler, it's because it's not the end, it's just the intermission. Oh, death, where is your sting? And oh, grave, where is your victory? Would you high five two neighbors and say, neighbor, this ain't the end, it's just the intermission. I wish I had some sanctified folk here that would open their mouth and holler until hell remember. Holler until the veil is torn. Holler until you remember it ain't over yet, because there's still power. And so, verse 38, done. 38 says that the curtain of the veil of the temple is now torn. From the top to the bottom. Veil to the temple This veil represents purity. This was significant because it was this particular veil that separated the holy place from the holies of holies. This was an important piece that we miss right here, tucked away in verse 38, because it seemed like, well, Jesus died and the draperies got messed up. No, at the design of the temple, per the instruction of God, there was separations in the temple.
All right.
And the veil, this very important veil, separated the holy place from the holies of holies.
Yeah.
In the holies of holies was the Ark of the Covenant, which represented the presence of God. The Ark of the Covenant, 2 feet wide, about 2 feet high, about 4 feet long. In it was a pot of manna. In it were the tables, the 2 tables of stone upon which were written the 10 commandments.
Yeah.
In it was Aaron's rod that budded. On top of it was the mercy seat covered in pure gold. And on each side were the cherubim angels facing inward, and their wings covering the mercy seat. And when God would talk to Moses, the smoke would rise up from in between the cherubim.
Yeah.
And so because this was such a holy place, nobody had access into the holies of holies but consecrated priests. The consecrated priests were to go in and they were to throw blood of the animal on the mercy seat for the atonement of our sins. There was a veil and a rope tied around the ankle of the priest. And if the priest was not right before God, when he walked into the holies of holies, the Bible says that the Spirit of God was striking dead. But because it was a holy place, they had to hurry up and drag him out, lest his dead body defile this holy place where God dwelled. And so the veil demanded that we, the people, have intercessors. The veil demanded that someone had to go to the Father on our behalf. But when the veil was torn, it literally gave me access to the presence of God for myself. I ain't got to go through no priest. I ain't got to go through the pastor. I ain't got to go through the intercessory prayer. But I can go to God in prayer. I can call him when I need him. I'm your Father up in heaven. I can go to God. And so 4 things I believe with you, and we're done here, is that in order for me to get access, before the veil to the temple was rent, there was a sound. Before he breathed his last breath, there was a sound. Before I got access to God himself, there was a sound. And so the question of how then shall I gain access is that I must learn how to make a kingdom sound. So if I want access, I have to make a sound of authority. It doesn't mean I go around hollering and bossing people. It means that I'm so connected to God that when I open my mouth, heaven has no choice but to respond and do what I say. When I lay hands and pray for you, cancer has to dry up because I've made a kingdom sound. When I walk in the job, the atmosphere has to change because I've made a kingdom sound. When I go to the realtor's office, numbers got to add up because I've made a sound. And so I have to make a sound of authority, but I also have to make a sound that proves that doubt is wrong. To make a sound of authority and a sound that proves that doubt is wrong. Jesus says, toward the latter half of the phrases that we understand, that we call the last 7 sayings of Christ, he makes a statement that says, I thirst. And when he said I thirst, text teaches us that they offered him sour wine or vinegar. They offered him this vinegar because taking vinegar by itself has the same effect as if you were to suck on a lemon by itself. It puts puts the vocal cords into shock and causes them to rub together. So therefore you are unable to produce any sound.
All right. Come on.
Try it, go suck on the limit. And you won't be able to speak immediately because the cords are in shock, or your vocal folds are in shock, and they're rubbing together, and you cannot make a sound. And so it gives us an insight on what they did, because the soldiers were not giving him vinegar or sour wine to anesthetize the pain or to appease his thirsting, but they gave him vinegar because they got tired of him talking and wanted him to go ahead on and shut up. Because they've seen enough of what happens when he opens up his mouth. When he opens his mouth, dead folks start getting out the grave. When he opens his mouth, sick bodies become healed. When he opens his mouth, withered hands start stretching out. When he opens his mouth, people that have been lame start walking. When he opens his mouth, the winds and the seas obey. They say, we've got enough of this man's talking. He's got to shut up. Can I tell somebody here? The reason why people don't like you talking is because every time you open your mouth, stuff starts. Every time you open your mouth, your family gets together. Every time you open your mouth, your bills get paid. I'm tired of you because when you open your mouth.
Yeah, Lord. Glory.
You make a sound of authority. You make a sound that proves the doubt is wrong. You make a sound that produces change. Again, it wasn't until the veil of the temple was rent that we got access to the holies of holies.
All right.
I wasn't able to get to God because sin kept me on the other side of the veil. I was so close, but I couldn't get to him because sin separated me. But when there was a sound,
Right.
I got access to the Father.
Come on.
I didn't have to stay out here no more.
Yes, Lord.
Notice that it didn't say when I joined the church. It didn't say when I've been saved for real long. It says when I learned how to make a sound. I get access to the Father. I don't care if you've been saved for 2 minutes. If you learn how to make the sound. God, and there's some veteran Christians in here that can take 5 seconds and show the newbies what it's like if we learn how to make a sound. Gonna make a sound that produces change. Then lastly, I have to make a sound that draws others. When I make this kingdom sound, people's attention will be got because of the sound. But their attention will be kept because of the miracle the sound produced.
Glory.
People's attention will be got, will be had because of the sound. Their attention will be kept because of the miracle that happens when we make the sound. The glorious miracle of the sound that's made here in the text is that from that point until forever, we were able to be reunited with God, just like we were in Eden. I was able to be communing with God. I was able to call him things like Abba and Father. I'm able to go to him burdened. I'm able to go to him sad. I'm able to go to him without any perfunctionary deities. I don't have to do anything special to go to it. I ain't got to pray these real long prayers with all these fancy words. All I have to do is learn how to say Jesus. Now Son of David, have mercy on me. On me. It's real good when you can pray good. It's good when you know how to get in touch with it. But if you haven't got to that point, if you can just learn how to holler Jesus.
Yes, Lord. Yes,
Access to God the Father. So I've got access, not because I'm special. I've got access not because I do things right all the time. I've got access not because I have a title or a position in the church,
Yeah.
but I have access
Got access.
because I've learned
Yes.
how to make the kingdom sound.
Yes.
I've got access because of my worship. I've got access because my hands go up. I've got access because I learned how to trust and depend on God. Would you do me a favor one more time and just make an access granting sound in the sanctuary? Would you make the sound that produces change? Would you make the sound that changes the environment in your house while you're still here? While you're here, He's there, working it out in your favor. Can you make a sound? Now, God, thank you for giving us access to our sound.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, God, that when we learn how to make a sound, you give us access to you. Not to stuff, but to you. Because, Father, it's our desire not to just have stuff, because your word teaches us that heaven and earth shall pass away. But you, God, shall remain forever. So thank you for giving us access to you. And thank you for teaching us how to make the sound. So I pray in Jesus' name.
In the name of Jesus.
Amen.
In the mighty name of Jesus. Hallelujah. Glory. Hallelujah. Thank you.
And after it quickly that you stand,
Thank you, Jesus.
prepare.